Honored guests, may I please ask you to take your seats in order for us to begin with the opening of COP28.
Good afternoon, distinguished delegates. It gives me great pleasure to declare open the 28th session of the Conference of the Parties to the United Nations Framework Convention on Climate Change. Before we formally turn to our agenda, please join me in reflecting on the life and work of two esteemed colleagues of our process who we have lost recently. Pete Betts from the United Kingdom, Salimullah Haq from Bangladesh. Pete was a UK civil servant and veteran climate negotiator who helped deliver the Paris Agreement as the EU's lead negotiator. Over the years, he played a pivotal role in raising global climate ambition. Pete will be fondly remembered for his exceptional ability to build bridges, for his sense of humor, and for his kindness. Salimullah al-Haq was an eminent climate scientist who was recognized by the scientific journal Nature as one of the top 10 scientists in the world. He dedicated his professional career to give voice to those most impacted by climate change and was a member of countless climate negotiators and scientists from the least developed countries who went through his negotiator training workshops. He will be fondly remembered for his endearing smile and his calm yet fierce determination. Please stand for a moment of silence in memory of Pete and Salimullah Haq, as well as all civilians who have perished during the current conflict in Gaza. Colleagues, as we highlight the achievements of COP27, we also need a frank assessment of where we stand in relation to our collective ambitions, to the stark realities of science, and to the echoing voices of impacted communities across the globe. A quick realities check in this regard should be of concern to all of us for a number of reasons. First, because most of what we bring forward as tangible solutions and actionable commitments is based on speculation or well wishes at most. That we will be able to deliver our NDCs conditional and unconditional. That developed countries will deliver the 100 billion goal. That the loss and damage fund established in Sharm el-Sheikh will be replenished in billions of dollars. That international financial institutions will be reformed to deliver all the support required. And that the private sector, altogether with Article 2.1.c of the Paris Agreement, is the silver bullet that will unlock the flows of appropriate finance to developing countries. These are all mere assumptions with no evident proof in reality. Second, rather than increasing climate finance from developed countries, actually it's decreasing in relation to the growing needs and the increasing costs of finance in developing countries. The Green Climate Fund and the Adaptation Fund are but two examples of this worrying trend of decreased financial flows. Third, the expansion of fossil fuel exploration and production, in particular of coal, in countries that previously committed to substantially phase down or in some instances completely phase out coal. Another worrying sign is the increased gap in renewable energy expansion and availability, and the temptation of resorting to unilateral measures, either through incentives or taxes, shifting fair competition and jeopardizing multilateralism and hard-earned gains in developing nations. Colleagues, these are all worrying signs that we need to take seriously, as they not only erode trust in the global climate regime, but also have deep impacts and severe consequences on our ability to achieve the goals of the Paris Agreement. And while the outcomes delivered in Sharm el-Sheikh do take us a step further in the right direction, these worrying signs need to be addressed immediately and effectively if we are to remain on the right side of history and to ensure that our collective efforts are not in vain. As I today perform my very last duty as COP President, and as Egypt hands over the baton of responsibility for global climate actions to the UAE, I am confident that addressing these challenges will be the focus of incoming President Dr. Sultan Al-Jaber and his able team, especially in the context of the global stocktake, as well as the energy and finance pathways of COP28. I trust that under his capable leadership, the global climate action agenda will progress even further, putting us a step closer to achieving our targets. Once again, I thank you, and I wish you all a very fruitful COP28. Thank you very much.
بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم، مساكم الله بالخير. حياكم الله في دولة الإمارات، بلاد زايد الخير والعطاء والتنمية والاستدامة Excellencies, dear friends, colleagues, members of every delegation, that this day has finally arrived. And as my first official act as COP President, allow me to express my gratitude to my very dear friend Sameh Shukri. Your Excellency, you have led this conference with vision, purpose, and integrity. We are indebted to you for your service, your accomplishments, and your commitment to climate progress. And allow me to also extend my gratitude to every person in this room. We come from different nations, different backgrounds, and different generations. Yet, we share something vital. At some point in each of our lives, we all made a choice to help carry the burden of a great responsibility, to raise our hands and bear some portion of the weight on our shoulder. That choice is why we are all here in the United Arab Emirates today. The UAE is deeply proud and humbled to be hosting COP28 at a pivotal time in this critical decade for climate action. We know, as you know, the gravity of this moment. We feel, as you feel, the urgency of this work. And we see, as you see, that the world has reached a crossroads. And yes, since Paris, we have made some progress. But we also know that the road we have been on will not get us to our destination in time. The science has spoken. It has been loud and clear. It has confirmed that the moment is now to find a new road, a road wide enough for all of us free of the obstacles and the detours of the past. That new road starts with a decision on the global stocktake. A decision that is ambitious, corrects course, and accelerates action to 2030. Through the global stocktake, we have a chance to unite the three core elements of the climate agenda. We can finally bring mitigation, adaptation, and means of implementation, which includes finance, under one umbrella. United around higher ambition, giving clear direction on nationally determined contributions, and connecting everything we agree here to practical action in the real world. Every nation, every sector, and every one of us has an urgent and an immediate role to play. For my part, I pledge that I will run an inclusive and transparent process, one that encourages free and open discussion between all parties. I ask you to start this COP with a different mindset. I ask you to adopt a different way of thinking. And I ask you to be flexible. We must ensure that this COP delivers the most ambitious global stocktake possible. So let's work efficiently. Let's agree on the agenda and move to text quickly. Please. We have no time to waste. Friends, I believe that the United Arab Emirates reflects the spirit we need at this COP. My country is only 2 years older than me. And that makes it a young country, in fact, a very young country. It is a nation that rose up from the desert through the vision and foresight of our late founding father, Sheikh Zayed bin Sultan Al Nahyan, and the conviction and aspiration he passed on to the generations that followed. And now, 52 years later, just look around. We may be a young nation, but we have big ambitions and hold fast to principles like collaboration, optimism, true partnership, determination, and commitment. These are the ingredients that make up the DNA of the United Arab Emirates. And it's these core values of trust, purpose, partnership, and pragmatism that I believe must define the DNA of COP28. That means it is essential that no issue is left off the table. And yes, as I have been saying, we must look for ways and ensure the inclusion of the role of fossil fuels. I know there are strong views about the idea of including language on fossil fuels and renewables in the negotiated text. We collectively have the power to do something unprecedented. In fact, we have no choice but to go the very unconventional way. I ask you all to work together. Be flexible, find common ground, come forward with solutions, and achieve consensus. And never lose sight of our North Star of 1.5. Because that is what I am going to stay laser focused on. Excellencies, dear friends, we all know that a key success factor across climate agenda is finance. And for too long, finance has not been available, accessible, or affordable. This presidency is committed to unlocking finance to ensure that the Global South does not have to choose between development and climate action. Let this be the year that climate finance meets the magnitude of the moment. Let this be the COP where we deliver on our promises from the 100 billion to loss and damage. And on loss and damage, I know how important this issue is to the parties, particularly to the most vulnerable. What began in Sharm el-Sheikh and what was given critical momentum and traction in Abu Dhabi earlier this month must now be delivered and actioned here in Dubai. And allow me here to pause for a moment to honor the memory of our distinguished colleague and my dear friend Salim al-Haq. He devoted his entire career to the cause of finding a way to address loss and damage. And I personally benefited from his advice and his experience, particularly on the imperative to shift the world's focus to the needs of adaptation. Excellencies, adaptation must be at the heart of our action. We must bridge the finance gap and agree on a robust framework for the global goal. Let's put nature, lives, and livelihoods at the core of our national plans. Let's finally face the issues that are critical to adaptation, like water, food, agriculture, and health. And that is why I am proud that this COP will be the first to host a climate health ministerial. Colleagues, I want this COP to be the COP that maximizes momentum on mitigation. Today, countries representing more than 85% of the world's economy are behind COP28's goal of tripling renewable energy capacity by 2030. And we are reaching critical mass on the goal to double energy efficiency by 2030. This is how we will transition away from unabated coal. Let me also encourage countries to establish net zero methane emission targets as part of their next round of NDCs. Zeroing out methane emissions can make a huge impact in the shortest time frame. Colleagues, and let history reflect the fact that this is the presidency that made a bold choice to proactively engage with oil and gas companies. We had many hard discussions. Let me tell you, that wasn't easy. But today, many of these companies are committing to zero methane emissions by 2030 for the first time. And now, many national oil companies have adopted net zero 2050 targets for the first time. And I'm grateful that they have stepped up to join this game-changing journey. But I must say, it is not enough. And I know that they can do much more. They can lead the way. And them leading the way will ensure that others follow and catch up. At the same time, as part of this presidency's action agenda, we are engaging with other high-emitting sectors like heavy transportation, aluminum, steel, and cement, all in an effort to accelerate decarbonization at scale. I'm calling on all industries to engage, to innovate, to modernize, and invest in clean technologies. Colleagues, my friends, my partners, the next 2 weeks will not be easy. Let's remember, our task is not only about negotiating text or putting words on paper. It is about improving lives. It is about people. From the students I met in Bangladesh to the young entrepreneurs I saw in Nairobi, to indigenous communities I visited in the Amazon basin. All of us want and need the same things: clean air, clean water, healthy food, economies, and opportunities for ourselves and our families. And of course, we want a safe and a secure future. Is that too much to ask? Excellencies, ladies and gentlemen, my friends and my partners, we all made a choice to be here at this time. We understand the gravity of the situation, and I know that we all respect the science. Today, we need to follow through. Take that new road, and let's bring everyone on board with us. If we want to accelerate progress across the climate agenda, we must apply a positive can-do vision to get a GST decision with the highest ambition. We must translate the negotiated outcomes into real results in the real world. And we must use the next 2 weeks wisely. Take a no-nonsense approach with no delays. Let's restore faith in multilateralism. Let's bring back the lost trust in multilateralism. And let's deliver some good news to the world that really needs it today. And friends, I'll be right there, at your side, every step of the way. I will roll up my own sleeves alongside you. Let's rise above our differences to make the difference for future generations. Right now, here in the United Arab Emirates, I'm calling you all to unite, to act, and to deliver. I thank you.
मेरे ब्रदर और यूएई के राष्ट्रपति हिज हाइनेस शेख मोहम्मद बिन जायद के समर्थन के लिए मैं आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। इतनी व्यस्तता के बीच भी उनका यहां आना, हमारे साथ कुछ पल बिताना और उनका समर्थन मिलना, ये अपने आप में बहुत बड़ी बात है। यूएई के साथ इस इवेंट को को-होस्ट करते हुए मुझे बहुत खुशी हो रही है। मैं स्वीडन के प्रधानमंत्री उल्फ क्रिस्टरसन का इस इनिशिएटिव से जुड़ने के लिए भी आभार व्यक्त करता हूं। फ्रेंड्स, मैंने हमेशा महसूस किया है कि कार्बन क्रेडिट का दायरा बहुत ही सीमित है और ये फिलॉसफी एक प्रकार से कॉमर्शियल एलिमेंट से प्रभावित है। मैंने कार्बन क्रेडिट की व्यवस्था में एक सोशल रिस्पॉन्सिबिलिटी का जो भाव होना चाहिए, उसका बहुत अभाव देखा है। हमें होलिस्टिक तरीके से नई फिलॉसफी पर बल देना होगा और यही ग्रीन क्रेडिट का आधार है। मानव जीवन में आमतौर पर 3 प्रकार के चीजों का हम अनुभव करते हैं। हमारे स्वाभाविक जीवन में भी जो लोगों को हम देखते हैं तो 3 चीजें हमारे नेचर सामने आती हैं। एक प्रकृति यानी टेंडेंसी, दूसरी विकृति और तीसरी संस्कृति। एक प्रकृति है, एक नेचुरल टेंडेंसी है जो कहती है कि मैं पर्यावरण का नुकसान नहीं करूंगा। ये उसकी टेंडेंसी है। एक विकृति है, एक डिस्ट्रक्टिव माइंडसेट है जिसकी ये सोच होती है कि दुनिया का कुछ भी हो जाए, भावी पीढ़ी का कुछ भी हो जाए, कितना ही नुकसान हो जाए, मेरा फायदा हो। यानी एक विकृत मानसिकता है। और एक संस्कृति है, एक कल्चर है, संस्कार है जो पर्यावरण की समृद्धि में अपनी समृद्धि देखता है। उसको लगता है कि मैं पृथ्वी का भला करूंगा तो मेरा भी भला होगा। हम विकृति को त्याग कर पर्यावरण की समृद्धि में अपनी समृद्धि की संस्कृति विकसित करेंगे, तभी प्रकृति यानी पर्यावरण की रक्षा हो पाएगी। जिस तरह हम अपने जीवन में हेल्थ के कार्ड को अहमियत देते हैं कि भाई आपका हेल्थ कार्ड क्या है, आपका हेल्थ रिपोर्ट क्या है, रेगुलर उसको हम देखते हैं, हम कॉन्शियस हैं, ये कोशिश करते हैं कि उसमें पॉजिटिव पॉइंट जुड़े हैं। वैसे ही हम पर्यावरण के संदर्भ में भी सोचना शुरू करना चाहिए। हमें देखना होगा कि क्या करने से पृथ्वी की हेल्थ कार्ड में पॉजिटिव पॉइंट जुड़े, और यही मेरे हिसाब से ग्रीन क्रेडिट है, और वही मेरी ग्रीन क्रेडिट की अवधारणा है। हमें नीतियों में, निर्णयों में ये सोचना होगा कि उससे पृथ्वी के हेल्थ कार्ड में ग्रीन क्रेडिट कैसे जुड़ेगा। जैसे एक उदाहरण मैं देता हूं, डिग्रेडेड वेस्टलैंड का है। अगर हम ग्रीन क्रेडिट के कंसेप्ट से चलेंगे तो पहले डिग्रेडेड वेस्टलैंड के इन्वेंटरी बनाई जाएगी, फिर उस भूमि का उपयोग कोई भी व्यक्ति या संस्था वॉलेंटरी प्लांटेशन के लिए करेगी, और फिर इस पॉजिटिव एक्शन के लिए उस व्यक्ति या संस्था को ग्रीन क्रेडिट दिए जाएंगे। ये ग्रीन क्रेडिट फ्यूचर एक्सपेंशन में मददगार होंगे और ये ट्रेडेबल भी हो सकते हैं। ग्रीन क्रेडिट की पूरी प्रक्रिया डिजिटल होगी, चाहे वह रजिस्ट्रेशन हो, प्लांटेशन हो, वेरिफिकेशन हो, या फिर ग्रीन क्रेडिट जारी करने की बात हो। और ये तो सिर्फ मैंने एक छोटा सा उदाहरण आपको दिया है। हमें मिलकर ऐसे अनंत आइडियाज पर काम करना होगा। इसलिए ही आज हम एक ग्लोबल प्लेटफॉर्म भी लॉन्च कर रहे हैं। ये पोर्टल प्लांटेशन और पर्यावरण संरक्षण से संबंधित आइडियाज, एक्सपीरियंसेस एंड इनोवेशंस को एक जगह पर कलेक्ट करेगा, और ये नॉलेज, ये रिपोजिटरी वैश्विक लेवल पर पॉलिसीज, प्रैक्टिसेस और ग्रीन क्रेडिट्स की ग्लोबल डिमांड को शेप करने में मदद देगी। फ्रेंड्स, हमारे यहां कहा जाता है कि प्रकृति रक्षति रक्षिताः, अर्थात प्रकृति उसकी रक्षा करती है जो प्रकृति की रक्षा करता है। इस मंच से मैं आह्वान करता हूं कि इस इनिशिएटिव से जुड़े, साथ मिलकर इस धरती के लिए, अपनी भावी पीढ़ियों के लिए एक ग्रीनर, क्लीनर और बेटर फ्यूचर का निर्माण करें। मैं मोजाम्बिक के राष्ट्रपति का आभार व्यक्त करता हूं कि वह समय निकालकर हमारे बीच आए हैं और हमारे साथ जुड़े हैं। एक बार फिर आज इस फोरम में जुड़ने के लिए आप सभी का मैं बहुत बहुत धन्यवाद करता हूं।